given boys club and girls club, but they need leadership. They need training. It should be these groups and these cliques have disrupted our community. Back in the day, you would have to have a pass to do some of the things they are doing now. We have created an illusional thought process. Back in the Renaissance days, when African American were given a chance to make a move, education, better themselves, that was that one time. Then, as we come up, we're fighting for civil rights, saying we should overcome. And then, as we move up, now we're fighting for our life, our chance to be in a career, our chance to take a chance with life. And as we move up, now we are in a problem because we have been flooded with drugs. And therefore, some of the times when I grew up, there were always dance clubs, places to go to, places to connect. These things have been shut down because once the cocaine and the crack era hit, it's dismembered us. It's very devastating what happened. Now in our community, there is nothing and nothing left. Now we're fighting against each other over something that we do not even own, of a community that's broken. Thank you, Mike. What do you want to say about that?
Yeah, self hate is a big tool that's used. It's a propaganda machine that is complex, is put together by these large corporations, which I was discussing in conversation with
Yes.
Marcy for MLK today. Um, the thing I was stating is that, one of the biggest trends out right now is we're underdressing. We're not dressing up, we're dressing down. But when I explained this concept, I was stating that look at who's benefiting from this. Look at who's manufacturing these clothing.
Yes.
Look at what companies are making millions of dollars. Now, on top of that, look at what the companies are doing for the black community. Nothing. What are they doing for inner city communities, urban communities? Nothing. Are they contributing to trade programs? No. Are they contributing to educational
Never.
programs? No. Are they contributing to giving children scholarships? Somewhat in a very small percentage, only
Exactly.
some of them.
Exactly.
And then on top of that, we got to understand, is this an agenda set for our culture? Think about it. If I can make you look unintelligent and then get you to buy clothes to make people perceive that you're unintelligent by having you spend for something that is not worth value. And as we look at the clothes that really come here to our country are secondhand stepped on clothes because the real clothes come from France, England, places like that. And overseas, you get the real good quality. Here, when you are in the States, these clothes are kind of like stepped on. In order to get the best clothing, you would have to go to the ports. And the ports is very hard to do, because we don't have that outlet. Not
True.
yet. But what I'm stating to you in a nutshell was that when you look at the clothing that these kids are wearing, these new jeans that unzip from the back behind area, which promotes sagging, which promotes children to have a lesser value, which promotes law enforcement and other people to see them as a dysfunctional person in society. Because think about it, what person would walk around with their butt cheeks showing? So these things are a propaganda targeted against us in a way, in a manner. And when it's done, um, we're not going after these corporations, we're going after each other. So that's another form of self hate. Look at the people who are creating it. Don't look at the children who's wearing it because if they're making it at a price tag where it's only 19.99, and remember the mother who has to take care of the children in the household, or the father does not make a good income because we're also discriminated in the workforce. Me myself, I was recently employed. Very strange. I was let go. Very odd. The person who works for my school was a captain at the place, but he goes to school with me. Um, the woman who basically, I think, works as the hiring person, or one of the people in the company management, I think also works at my school. So it's very strange, but I was let go due to the fact that I didn't respond to something. But just to sum it all up, it was BS because I had been there for a
Yes.
whole year and never had any type of issue. And people had walked off with $500 worth of clothing, and they called the police, and I was never reprimanded, never given a bad report. But like I said, once you're dealing with all these aspects, the first one,
Mhm.
you're being discriminated in the workforce. You
Mhm.
don't make a good income. As a parent, you're living on a budget. When those budgets consist of you only bringing in probably, I would say, $30,000 to $40,000 a year, on top of your rent you have to pay, on top of your car note you have to pay, on top of now renter's
Mhm.
insurance you have to pay,
The internet
on top of the internet you have to pay for your children to do their schoolwork
and PG&E.
and to be entertained, PG&E to be paid,
Mhm.
groceries to be paid, gas to be paid, and then you have to also have a life insurance policy put away for your children and other things of that nature. You're not really left with a lot. So when it comes to buying kids clothing, the children are going to go with what's in style. And what's marketed to us is always the low level energy type of stuff. Look at for instance, the food that we eat. Kool-Aid is one of the biggest things. Remember, Kool-Aid is one of the
Mhm.
worst things you
And
can drink.
sugar.
Sugar is based with a lot of diabetic um, aspects in there to get you in a non functional mindset, and your physical won't be able to um, adapt properly. This is where a lot of kids get the ADD and other things of that nature from.
Mhm.
Um, these things are used as a marketing tag against us. The low level clothing, where we dress down, not up. The food is low level. Eating. It's not the better standards. When I moved into, how can I say, me and MLK, Marcy for MLK. We lived in a place called Santa Cruz.
Yes.
We came from the Bay Area, but when we moved over there, we got a chance to go to Monterey. We got a chance to go to. When I also lived in San Diego, we got a chance to go to Oceanside. We got a chance to go to these other places, Borrego Springs. We got a chance to go to places um, where it was very high class
And peaceful.
and peaceful, but the food that the people were consuming were of high quality.
Exactly.
They were not of low quality meal standards. The kids there had the greatest position. They had actual vendors coming to their schools. So,
Mhm.
unlike schools that we have inner city schools where they just serve us whatever they want to serve us. At those schools, where Marcy for MLK worked at, that the vendors like Burger King, Fresh Choice, um, Whole Foods, they would come up to the school and give these kids different options of what to eat.
Mhm.
And on top of that, they had the cafeteria, which had another greater quality of food. So when I looked at that, I said, wow, this community, they invest in their children.
Exactly.
They invest in their future. They invest in their the quality of living, the quality of food that they digest, because they know that food makes you and it breaks you also too. If you're not eating a good diet, you can't concentrate and think in a better manner. You're not able
Exactly.
to function in school around people. So what I'm saying, on a nutshell, to sum it all up, there's a lot of different self-hate discriminations done to us, and we have to look at the bigger picture before we look at the smaller picture. Don't blame the children or the inner city people. Look at who's manufacturing these
Yes.
things to us. Why is it there? And then the self-hate part of it is, why are most of our people in these higher positions that are in the community, like the mayors, senators, local Congress,
Haven't addressed anything.
haven't addressed these things? Why are people that are in these positions, that have depositions, that sit around every day, and they have local meetings for, because when I lived in Vallejo, they had a meeting every Friday, And you can come down there and see the mayor, you can see your city councilmen, you can see all these people, and then you can
Mhm.
ask them questions. But the majority of people that were coming there were not people of our nationality. They were Asian American people, people that were Caucasian of European nationality, and people that were Latin American or people of Hispanic community. They were coming down, getting the information, having a dialogue with these individuals, letting them know what they did not want and what type of things that they do not want to represent them in their communities. But when it came to our people of the Afro Indigenous people, they were very small and few there. Um, that to me was a red flag. But like I'm
Yes.
saying, there's multiple ways that self hate is used against us, and propaganda and the promotion of it by large companies and the economical breakdown within these companies to give kickbacks into city areas to push their products so they can make money and to target the less fortunate when you're already not having a good uh, income base, you know, way of living. You can't really your income is based
It
on
doesn't meet the
a
criteria
small portion not meeting the criteria
at all for
of how
living
you can really survive and what you can really get as a whole. So now you're dealing with you have to bargain and you have to basically compromise
and cut.
and you have to cut down because you can't afford this. You got to get
Mhm.
that because remember the kids got to get shoes.
Mhm.
If you're living with your mother or your father, you got to make sure they're taken care of. You got to have gas. You got to get to work. You got to go to school. Because me myself, I work and go to school. And I've been doing that for a long time. But like I said, it's things that you have to compromise with in this society. And as a black people, even reparations, you can see we're not giving money. We're not given an incentive.
Not at all.
As you see, some cultures are given stuff like they have laws passed where you cannot touch them. They have other laws to where they pay for people housing if they're from other countries.
Yes.
They have laws to where people are victims of war crimes. They get disability when they come in. They get
Mhm.
grants. Now, being who we are and going through all the things we're going through, there's no incentives. There's no free rent for us. And I know people say, "Oh, welfare, welfare is for everybody in America," and they say, "Oh, civil rights, civil rights is the rights of everyone." Because remember, there's women's civil rights, there's gay civil rights, there's civil rights of other nationalities, and they say, "Oh, equal opportunity. Equal opportunity is the same thing." The Equal Opportunity Act also helped out more women than it helped people of black nationality. So I'm trying to state to you, there's not really a straight up incentive given to us as a people. It's not nothing for us 100%, only for us, which where it only helps us grow and develop in this country. There's no free rent, like I just stated. There's no free food where we can get free food and we can save our money so that way we can become these millionaires or become these people that have businesses and now become prominent pillars of our society and our community. We're not given anything. We have to struggle and we have to fight for. We have to pull ourselves by the strap of our boots and get up every day. And then we have to deal with the racism. Then we have to deal with the um, the economic
Mhm.
aspect. Then we have to deal with, on top of that, the stress and mental stress of that.
Mhm.
Then we have to deal with the the capabilities of understanding that you're going to be limited when you're dealing with all this. So altogether, I'm saying to you, there are multiple ways that we are being attacked, and
Exactly.
the self hate is by our people in these
Hating
positions
hating us. Hating
hating
their own
us,
people.
not allowing us
Mhm.
to get past these barriers.
Mhm.
And they are the guard dogs, which you would call them, once again, the gatekeepers of the community. They make sure that we are targeted. They make sure the Kentucky fries, the Popeye, the all these things that are giving our people bad heart disease, giving them
Cancer.
diabetes, cancers, all these diseases that we are going through at this point in time in the society. They're the ones who are making the decisions to allow these people to have these type of franchises in our communities.
Exactly.
They have a obligation to us and we should make sure that they should fulfill that obligation. And that's what I want to say on that one right there, that on that
Thank you.
topic.
Power of the Common People for MLK. Now, they say the street gang is not to be sold and not to be told. That is a word we are at. And it's reshaping, remixing, and decreasing who we are. We are not a rapper looking forward to, s- you know, having this person sprout. When I say that, I mean, why do we spend money on trying to be like an artist? Nike shoes run anywhere from 100 and some odd dollars. Adidas just as well. We want to have the latest, look the goodest, but when we really look at who we are, we don't have it all. We need to have power to move. We are sitting around thinking about how to be like instead of thinking about how to build on something that makes sense. We've been discredited. We've been monkey sized as coons. We have had so much conflict with each other. But behind the scene, everything that you're wearing, down to the money that you give out, is back to where it begins. We follow the breadcrumbs and find out who is manufacturing the guns, not us. We don't make guns. And we ask ourselves, who are we trying to be like?
I don't know one black person that manufactures guns or even created a gun idea or an invention yet. Not saying it happened, but I don't know any.
And now we become loyal to a street, a block, our community, which has nothing in that community for us. Until we get together on one accord and start really coming to the truth and start looking at who are we trying to be like instead of looking at what they're taking from us. We've been divided, cut into different divisions. We have had people who claim to have been supportive with us, but using us to go against each other. This thing has been going on for years. If we look at some of our great leaders, how were they murdered, infiltrated? There's always a person involved that set the story up. And how dare that we continue to not look at where we come from? We're not going anywhere. I'm asking you, it's time for you to start thinking about reparations. Reparations could be given in education, where we can strive into knowing knowledge. Everyone has a mindset of either being a basketball. These kids are thinking about being in football. They want to go in these careers. But the reality of it is, it may be two people out of that community that make it. Because the going up the hill, everyone will be going back down the hill. We are so disrespected by everyone in the whole world. Who is the nationality that's most hated? It's people of color. Power for the coming people. Look at who you are. Look at what you accomplish. I know there's people who are door stoppers, troublemakers, snitches, con artists, thieves who have put conflict and murderers. This is where they put us. But how can we stop it when it's continuing on happening? Every day in the news, we hear about somebody who robbed somebody, who killed somebody, who did some type of damage, who's getting indicted. And what it is to destroy who we are.
Self destruction.
That's why we are incoming into self destruction deeper. Right now, we are in the midst of either choosing the Lord or choosing the dirty devil or whatever that thing is. And so far, it's looking like evil. People are so scared to make a stand or to even acknowledge that it's not right. Back in the day, like I said, you could not come to an all African American community if you weren't another color. You would be checked. The elders ran the community. The youngsters even had a stronger voice in the community.
Enforce what the elders wanted.
Exactly. So now we are letting our culture get taken for granted. Things that we have learned and things that we only, as within our culture, have created. It's somebody else's now. Everything we look like, have done, it's as if we never done it. Now it's somebody else's. How could it be stolen from us? Easily, because we're not doing anything. We're just sitting back, getting slapped in the face day by day. We're sitting back and allowing these things to happen. When you see one of your sisters trying to dress like one of the rap females, and this is the way sex is now. Women are taking off every detail. And I watched the women on the YouTube on Figaro in Oakland. These women are very beautiful black sisters out there prostituting their bodies because that's fast money. It's not, it's the most hellish thing you can do. When you remove yourself, clothing, and exploit yourself, and it feels good to you, you're also stepping into Jezebel. You may not know this because I know about it. I lived a life like that before. Not as a prostitute, but as a woman who didn't care about myself. A self hatred is a disease that is handed from another person of color to next to children. Who told you to do these things, to take people confidence away? And this is what we do to each other. We bully, disrespect, charge on each other.
Encourage.
And then we see how a rapper include his lyrics into our children's ears. Now, I don't know any other race that has moved into a career, into a rapping career. We are creative people.
Well, a lot of them have now.
Tell us about it, Mike.
Well, there's a lot of communities now that are taking on the aspect of hip hop or rap, and they are also promoting the same type of mindset. So you can see, it's just
Mm.
not affecting us no more. That's why you're seeing the phenomenon of drugs being used all over the world, and one of the most um, addictive and highly addictive drugs, fentanyl, ISO, and things of this nature. They have taken a very big hold of kids, and the pills that they're popping.
Pills, yes.
This is a worldwide thing now, and yes, and in a lot of countries, the music is taking a hold of a lot of people. It hasn't affected them like it affected us, and how it's still affecting us, but it's slowly creeping into their homes and their doors. On that note, we're going to go to a quick little break
Peace.
and let you hear some music. And with that said, go ahead and peep it out. Far away. Far away. You gotta stay far away.
Okay.
This song was created in 2019. It's on my album MLRose Trap Instrumentals. I'm going to bring it back out on one of my greatest hits, and it may be resurfacing on a couple of other projects that I'm working on. Look out for those. And thank you for tuning in right now with Power of the Common People with MarC4MLK, and I am the special guest host, MLRose, from the Rose Room Discussion. Okay, so MarC4MLK, it's on you.
Yes, thank you. I want you to guys to study and go back in the 1940s and go back into the 1970s. Those were very powerful times. When we got to the 80s, corrupt began. It was a very powerful time that we got into the three strike laws, into the cocaine, into men being massive, going to jail,
Mass incarceration.
large quantities of brothers. And some of them never really killed anybody, but at the same time, our community started to break off. This is the best of destruction.
Self-destruction.
It was done in a very strategic way where they knew that beginning was the welfare set up, the welfare reform made African American men less than who they are, removed them out of the house.
Strategies and tactics.
Because the jobs at the time, they didn't have the income. In order for women to get aid, the male had not supposed to be in the house, and the household was suffering. So they would have people of white women come to the house, check the closets, interview the children, and ask them, when the last time did you see your father? So the answer would be, I haven't seen my dad. And because of that answer, women got their aid.
Can I just chime in on something too?
Yes.
With that happening, as you recede towards the 60s and 70s, then you notice that they had another act that they plant, and that was most black homes, children of our nationality didn't know where our fathers was at.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna let you go back and you can speak on that. I just wanted to chime in on that real quick.
Thank you. So this is the breakdown. The father not being in the home made it as difficult for the woman raising her sons. And a woman do not, we know, have the ability, the strength, and the mindset of raising a male child. So when we see them children nowadays, it's acceptable. The whole point of it is the structure of breaking down the family. Now it gets even deeper. Male children, young boys, become in power. And they group up as friends and begin to have this clique. And when somebody do something out of pocket, older guys would tell No, you guys are getting out of line. But now there is no older general,
OGs.
as they call them, in the hood to guide a young male.
Origins of genius.
As we know now, kids are going to jail at age 13. These pills are stronger, and the dismemberment of young males,
Dismantling.
and they are all in the incarcerated in the system. And when they go into the system, it gets really more destructive because now they in there with adults who are incarcerated for many years,
Taking advantage of them.
and now they don't understand that their childhood is becoming to a manhood. And if you look at the way and from the beginning how this all started, when you first get your first offense, you're sitting in court, you are assigned a lawyer. Now, what you're thinking is your lawyer is with you. No, your lawyer will never be with you.
Public pretender.
And if you go back as the policing getting picked up, they hate you. So therefore, you're not going to be in the most acceptable person. I have never been to jail, but I know people who have went in and came out totally different. This is what they do to people of color. Now, when we talk about being in Santa Cruz, I've never in my life seen instructors with a beautiful soul. There were never any intelligent people.
Compassion.
It was all their love will take the time and really show you how it's done. If it was a English, math, or whatever class. Now, when I get out here into the northern atmosphere from the central, this is rough. There is no places for us as people of color to grow on. We don't understand what to do, how to save our families. We have more high blood pressure, more to the point that we can't handle it. This is designed for that. It's designed for us to only go this far. Now, when you have a child, and once that child gets into the middle of junior high, you should constantly ask your child, what do they want to be in life? We need that strong strength. We need to be accountable for each other. But as where we at now, we are so distant and hatred, self-hatred against ourselves. Who will fix that? How do we fix it? What we should do is get together and start marching, start speaking up. Stop being afraid of people who don't want you to have anything. Why would you continue letting them control you? Because we only got 3 steps. We got birth, we got the point of where we at in life, and then we got death. I'd rather go out fighting than go out being quiet. Because people is so afraid because of the way it is designed. That's why you see so many young children clicking together because it was designed for them to not have anything in the community, what can they do? Where can they go? That's where the conflict comes in. Bullying, people picking on people. We need a better structure. Please, if anybody's listening that have that money power, because it's a shame that any performer or rapper or anybody that's in that level do not take a stand for us. As we see now, Diddy stuff is going way up the hill. Why are we worried about Diddy? We need to worry about what's going on in our own backyard. That's his problem. But who got him there? Who were the people who supported him?
Those companies I talked about.
And that's who we need to look at. When we're looking at these visualizations of beautiful interior illusional television, our concept of what we see is either comedian down, drowned down, disrespected,
Watered down.
doubly watered down. And we're lied to by certain people who claim that they would help the community. So this is why we're in this state of mind where people are coming and attacking and taking things out of the stores because you never or anyone never gave them a right to be educated, to get training, to get value, to learn a critical thinking, to put stuff in a life line of their life. The destruction is to destroy each other, fight amongst each other.
No self value.
And not only that, give homage to somebody who's not of color, who degrade your people.
Can I chime in on something
You
too?
please chime in.
What I wanted to chime in on that too also is look at the longevity of most black clothing and black companies. The aspect of it lasts for like 2 or 3 years. That's based upon the hype. That's based upon the date and time, which where they give power or empowerment. It could be mostly a lot based on um, the media. Okay, when you look at most black clothing lines, they don't
Yes.
last for that long. Now, when you look at other clothing lines of other nationalities, I'm not pointing out anybody else, but as you can see, the value of their clothing is so delusionally
Mm-hmm.
um, depicted amongst us that people are willing to kill somebody for a belt designed by a company that stole the design from a person that looked like you in an impoverished community. Now, just think about that. Most of those designs that you see and patterns that come on those clothes that you are seeing that has a price tag of $500 to $1,000 came from Africa. Now, in those African communities, they're dealing with all kind of different aspects of attacks upon them. But their ideals, and their personal dreams and aspirations are taken from them, manipulated, stolen, then given to
Exactly.
somebody else, who then gets a higher value off of something that they did not create, and then sold back to people that look the same way. And now these people are willing to attack each other over a belt because the belt is valued at $500 with an African tribe's design that was not made by the people who have control and marketed the design itself. So just think about that. That's very boggling. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's like you sitting at home drawing a picture. Somebody comes into your house, takes a picture of your picture,
Mm-hmm.
goes to an actual company, then manufactures your picture and makes millions of dollars off of it while you're at home making nothing. And they sell it to everybody in your community who pays them money for it while you don't receive anything. So this is what we're looking at. And I just wanted to chime in on that. Just sometimes, I guess, how can I state this? Just kind of Think about that, about yourself. That's why I said self value. We're being taught that we have no value of self. What we create, we're being told that it's not of any value. And then 5 seconds later, the same person that tell you it's not of any value will go and steal it and resell it and get double the amount of what you can
Mm-hmm.
even get at all, because they have told you that your value of a person and who you are and yourself is not worth anything, which is the same thing that's being depicted in the way of the characteristics that they place into these type of subliminal messaging, uh, into this entertainment industry, into the economic industry, into the educational industry. It's a lot of attacks.
It's specifically demographic. So, back in the years, I want to say redlining. Redlining is saying for people who are of the other nationality not to live in a community where people of color lived. It divided that line, the picket fence. Now, what we need to understand is who is the maker of all this? Who runs the money part? When you buy those shoes, who are you giving that money to? When you buying those outfits, who made those outfits? When you buying that music, who's behind that artist? We're always in a puppet type of community thing where we are looking up and figuring out who's dropping something down.
We're the battery in the back, and as soon as the battery runs out, you're thrown away.
Exactly. Are you either have killed yourself or they put you in a situation where you look bad as a person and they just cut you down and they will throw you away. So if we, the common people, start understanding the Lord put us here in a different way, we are very spiritual people. We are in tune to the Spirit. What it's trying to get us twisted is to steal our souls. That's where we're losing at. It's not the fact that we are dismantled in the mind, because that's the design that we're following. If we stop and start really realistically looking at how far we have come.
That's a good verse. What you just stated there, we're not mastered in the mind because we're following a fake design.
Exactly. And the creator is sitting back laughing and making big money off of us. I don't know why we have not created our own music company, our own theaters, our own. We got so much.
And why has nobody patent hip hop in the black community to be ours? Like I said to you, that would feed a lot of generations of our culture and our families and people.
Exactly.
If they had a patent on hip hop by us for us, just like Fubu, you know, what I mean, just I'm just trying to drop something on a lug on you. I'm just saying, if hip hop and rap was patent by us for all of our people to get a percentage out of it, just think about how much money we will all be able to make. Because words are patent every day. Terms are
Exactly.
patent. Companies' names are patent. You can't use them, right? So if hip hop and rap was patent for every person that's Afro Indigenous across the world, just think about how much wealth we can accumulate with that.
That is very true. The wealth is what we need because, as we know, once you are passed off of this earth and you have family members, some of us has to go to GoFundMe. Some of us is shocked when it happens. Why don't we have our own written ways that we should be doing? We should set up everything for us. I'm surprised, and it's very saddened that
Well,
Tupac was making some moves. See, some of these people are very angry when you make moves. When you make moves back to your front door, your people of color, giving them another better opportunity. And we have no body to even grip or grab hold to. We are falling down while they are falling upwards. I'm trying to figure out again, how did we get here? Why are we here? Why are we here for this illusional thing?
and they're trying to take away the music from us too. Also,
Exactly.
remember they're trying to make AI create hip hop music, rap music, to, um, I guess, be more of their standards of what they believe it should be. Now, think about that. Just think about it. Something that we can patent that was created by us and that was put together by us from the Most High, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, Elohim, Jesus, Jehovah, Heavenly Father, Yahuwah, however you pronounce the name of the King of all kings, the Lord of all lords, the God that is timeless, was given to us, just like R&B music, soul music, blues, all these things that were given to us. Remember, every time that we get something, it's always taken from us and remade. Remember, Kentucky Fried Chicken was made by a black man, the recipe. Remember, also,
Person of color.
uh, all these alcoholic beverages was made by most African Americans.
Person of color.
So you got to understand what I'm trying to state to you, like Marcy for MLK is saying to you. The things that we have that make us valuable are always stolen from us,
Exactly.
and then they are, how can I say this,
Marketed.
remixed,
Marketed in somebody else's
remixed,
name.
remixed,
Exactly.
and then sold back to us in a watered down version, and we're willing to take that. Um, take that. I'm not going to speak on that no more, but yeah, just think about that. That's very eye opening right there. That opened me up. Remember, uh, we haven't mastered the mind. That's why we're following a fake design, just like she just said.
Mm-hmm.
We need to master our minds, our mentals, and know our self value and our self worth. We have lost that stride in us. We are trying to keep it, but every time, like I say, I do these shows with her. When I go outside, I'm tested by not other people, but my own people,
Exactly.
because they're upset because the people that they're working with that devalue them tell them, "Oh, I don't like what he's doing. You need to say something to him and teach him a lesson." Why would somebody need to teach me a lesson when we live in a country of freedom, where we have our own mindsets, our own dialogues, our own personalities, our own skin color, skin tones? We have our own facial structures. We don't all look the same, so we're not going to have the same type of mindset. So when a person is angry at you, that shows you a lot has not changed at this point in time.
And not only that, we should have our own language. The language we speak, that was ours. Now it's everybody's. We should patent certain things. Now, I want to really talk about a specific thing that we have not looked at. Where do we start? The foundation, education, and discrimination. Why are we not looking at how we are being tormented, used, discredited, broken, and dismembered? Now, this is not somebody on the outside. This is done within our nationality. You might be walking with a person who is involved in reporting and snitching on you, following you,
Own
claiming to be a
kind,
friend,
your own kind.
your own people, as we see in this society
And the culture vultures.
to inform you and persuade you to be woke. Because I'm just saying, they watch everything you do. And if you let them be the best on the performing stage, because when they're looking at you, you are important. Instead of us looking at each other like we did something, we need to learn how to mend stuff, how to stop having attitudes, stop trying to trap each other, stop trying to be on a agenda and bring each other in some kind of conflict or world destruction. When I say world destruction, I mean taking that person down, their whole world, like they do time in jail, in prison. Decoloration is very serious.
Light skin versus dark skin.
It's very serious because for some reason, when a person is light skinned, they're prettier. But if a person has got darker melon, they're not pretty. But the real truth of that, let me explain you. When a person is light skinned, that's because they don't have a lot of melon. When a person is dark skinned, that's a beautiful, beautiful color because they have the melon.
But both is a beautiful color. It's
They
just that
both have the beautiful vibration of love
you're just
and their
giving
color.
what the Most High gave you.
But the way this played out here, it's a mind psychological game. If we can start respecting each other instead of going against each other, we'll be some powerful people. We are the love of this whole movement. When we get together, as you can tell back in the day, we are loving each other. Now it's something happening. But right now we have to choose our side. And the reason why the world is getting more destructive and more demonized is because that book, which is the word, is speaking on all the things that's happening.
We haven't followed our mind. We're
And
following
again,
the fake design.
we got to be for real who we give our love to because we might give it to the wrong enemy. We might give it to the wrong disease carrying person because they're coming to destruct you, dismantle you, destroy you, and take everything from you.
Discombobulate you.
This is when that drug is introduced into your life. Once it's in there, you become a slave to it. It becomes your idol. Right now, like I said, the choosing the sides, the Lord is picking up his people. The Lord is watching everything you do. So you could do the righteous, you could do the wrongest. You would know where you stand. If right now, if you was to drop dead, what side you think you would go to? Some people don't believe in it because they don't believe in the Lord. My faith is very strong. If something come up against me, I have a strength that will knock it out the box. This is where we at. Learn how to use your spiritual strength. Closing your eyes, being under the sun. This is why we don't have the sun in the Bay Area or in northern atmosphere because they're dumbing us down. But we again, we are the people. We are the coming strong people.
And we have power. And with that said, I'm going to go into another quick break. Bring on another slapper, slomper, a bumper, something for you to listen to. Another track I produced. And like she said, we have to think with our mind and follow the real design. Don't follow the things that'll leave us behind because we are very valuable to the identity of mankind. We are here by the Most High divine will. So sit back, listen to this song, and just chill. Yeah, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm. Let it roll.
Let it go. This is a track that I made. You know, it's called Intelligent Sounds Machine.
Intelligent sound.
Yes, we do what we can do here. So we're going into round 3, The Power of the Common People with MarC4MLK, and I am the featured guest host, MLRose, for the Rose Room discussion, bussin' like a mad granddad, and you know everything will come out without a doubt. Machine. All right, so I'm gonna let MarC go ahead with the third round, and she's gonna get into her third topic of the night, and we're gonna speak on some information she wants to acknowledge.
Power of the Common People for MLK. Gonna wrap it up with this story. I'm gonna start off at once upon a time. Once upon a time, there were a group of people who had everything because they were blessed like that. They can close their eyes and see the miracles. They can make miracles come into action. If they stuck together as they did, they knew that the Spirit was around them. They had great love for each other. Everybody smiled and was so happy. The food was made from Mother Nature. They didn't have to ask for anything. They had no worries. They had no problems. Nothing that they had against each other. If there was a dispute, they would sit down amongst the elders. But most of the time, men who are going into presenting themselves as the head adult, they would have to take these tests. And the women loved the men. They would support them. And the men would go out and hunt and provide for the whole village. They ate together. They've had music and they entertained. One day, it was this big, huge ship. It pulled up. None of the village people really seen it because that wasn't the day that they were going to fish. But they jumped off this huge boat, and these men had knives and guns, and they were ready to kill. They walked into that village, surprising the people. And as the people would welcome them, but this wasn't welcome. This was time to take some lives. These people began to start killing the village people and gathering up some of the young boys and gathering up some of the young girls. They put a chokehold on their necks and they carried them right back to the boat. While the other men were killing the village people off. They killed the whole village. And the young kids who were forced to go with these people got on a boat, the ship, and went out into the ocean. They were tied up in a way where they can breathe, but they couldn't move. They had to use the bathroom, so they defecated all over the ship. They were not fed any food. They were given lemon water, which you would take the lemon and put it into the water and put it enough on their lips so they wouldn't get dehydrated or the lips would go into crackle little blisters. Well, they was on this ship for months and they were not given anything but, again, the lemon water. They finally came to its destination. But the funny thing about it, when they got to United States, it was against the law to shackle people and bring against anybody that was a slave. But they brought them in. They snuck them in. And then, as the young village people, they couldn't even talk. They were immediately put up on a display. These men were buying them, auctioning them off, and they went in different directions. Some went to the South America, some went to the United States, and some went to other villages, and some were just killed. But the problem was, these people were stuck, and they were hated and discriminated and made as slaves. They worked in the fields, and all of them, from baby, young child, to mother, they were told to have sex with each other. Oh, and the owners also had sex with the mothers and the women. And when a child was born from one of the owners, they would either make a decision whether they want to kill the child or let the child live. So I'm just telling you this story because this is our ancestors. And some of us been here in the United States. All of us did not come from Africa. Some of us came from different places, but we landed here. And just to let you know, the color of the skin was neglected and hated. So as we look today, it's still the color of the skin. What year is this? 2024? How far is that from the 1500s? Where do we go? Who do we turn to right now? Shalom.
That is Marcy for Power of the Common People, Marcy for MLK, and I am the co-host today, MLRose, for the Rose Room discussion. And with that note, we just wanted to leave you with all praises be to the Most High Yahweh Hawashah Yahashua Elohim
Shalom.
in Jesus' name, in the name of Jehovah, Yahuwah, however you pronounce, and your means of faith. But all praises to the King of all kings, the Lord of all lords, the God that is timeless. We want to leave you on that note. Please stay blessed. Please stay alert. Look around you. Understand what's going on. Don't be afraid to ask the questions because there's nothing that you shouldn't be afraid to ask in life because the only people that are dumb is the ones that don't ask questions. We always need to question our surroundings and what's going on because this is how we're going to be able to survive, communicate, get a better understanding, and come on a mutual ground with what's going on around us. With that note said, We have came out of slavery, but we are still locked in our minds,
In bondage.
and this is why we have been following the fake design. So, with that said, it's time to unlock yourself. Time to remove your bondage and chains. It's time to remove these things that are shackling you in your life. If you need prayer, you should pray. If you need a better understanding, clarification, meditate. If you need to broaden your horizons, go out and adventure. The Spirit will come to you in any which way because the Most High moves in mysterious ways. But yet and still, He's always here and He's here for His children. And, to let you know, we're here for a purpose and a reason. We're all here. And we're here to give you this message because the Most High has ordained us in some way to have a conversation and to put this dialogue out there to you so you can, have something to think about. But please, thank you, and we appreciate you for even having the time to listen or to even, just giving us just a piece of your day of, of time just to
Thank you.
to hear us out. On that note, I'm going to leave you with one last song. And this is the end of the show. And that's pretty much about it.
Enjoy it.
Once again, this is Marcy for MLK, Power of the Common People.
Giving you basic understanding.
Have a blessed one.
And enjoy this world. Don't be